Hello, and welcome into this week's episode of Untold Stories, a weekly D&D campaign set in the world of Elvoria. We're back with these wonderful humans to roll some dice, attempt some questionable accents, and hopefully tell a decent story. We do have a few announcements up top, so I will pass over to our resident announcement extraordinaire in Andrew.
First off, we have a podcast. The Unrolled Stories podcast is now available on Spotify and possibly some other platforms. So you can now listen to the adventures of us, a bunch of good friends and normal adults, as we wander through our silly little adventure and avoid Gethin's plot as harshly as we possibly can. Our first 3 episodes are now up, with some middling sound quality, so they are still listenable, but this all will improve as we move through the fuck around and find out phase. So go follow the Untold Stories podcast, give us a review, at least 5 stars, or Ximori will come for you. And enjoy hearing our voices in your head wherever you go, much like Aderyn. Also, Adventurers! The Kickstarter for Runic Press's Rhoam and Ramble's Realms of Wonder is live. I just about managed that. Are you tired of trudging through rat-infested sewers and dealing with otagu-nesting fatbergs? Or dealing with the lingering gloom of the Dread Lich and his evil machinations in a world of terror and fear? Then take a wander into the Realms of Wonder. With new subclasses, spells, items, monsters, and much more, take a wander into whimsy with Rhoam and Ramble's Realms of Wonder by clicking the link down below to back the Kickstarter. Back to you, Gethin.
Thank you. Other elements that are always here, if you are looking to grab yourself some dice, or a dice tray, or a dice tower, you can get 10% off at Dakota Irish, the Irish producer of TTRPG content with a Bernese Mountain Dog, which means they're my favourite. If you use code TheWelshDM at checkout, you'll get 10% off any of those. Additionally...
influencer.
Actually. In this game, we make use of the Reimagined Classes that are available on the DM's Guild as a bundle written by myself, allowing you to embody Balrick, Lesley, Aderyn, or Ximori at your tables, or whatever crazy-ass character you can come up with yourself. And as always, all NPC art is provided by Aderyn and Giolini's Art Venturing Guild, the character art produced by @LiveDoodles, and the Chibi battle map art from last episode was made by WeTheDreamingDesigns. So definitely check out those artists if you can, and support real artists, not AI. But with all those announcements out of the way, I think it is time to continue telling our story. Last time out, you made your way through the sewers, the long, winding, dark tunnels filled with horrifying stenches, stagnant, flowing water. Don't know if that's possible, but still. Rats that decided to try and eat your face, and a fatberg that Aderyn blew apart in an incredible display of chaotic fire magic. Unfortunately, it did disturb the otagu and its younglings behind. They instinctively and aggressively attacked you, and you all fought very well to stave it off, saving Derek from the edge of life with a bit of teamwork, before Ximori proceeded to rip the tentacle off the thing and beat it to death with its own appendage. We will pick up the story with you all still arrayed in this sewer room. The entrance to the Otagu's nest now open, a strong waft of refuge and sewage coming from further up, and the flow of water now flowing much stronger from that chamber out into the rest of the sewer. What would you like to do?
Well, I'm rushing immediately over to Derek and cure wounds in.
Certainly.
Is Derek okay?
I think he's going to stay back next fight. He's all right. He'll live. We'll be okay.
Leslie's gonna ruffle his.
Crane in my hands.
Leslie's gonna ruffle his neck and say he was very brave.
I hurt.
I know you do, man. I know you do.
Sleep.
You rest.
I'm gonna prestidigitation Derek, so at least he's clean.
He gives you a lick on the face.
While I'm at it, I will clean everybody else.
I was going to say, Balrick goes, I'm impressed you didn't go for yourself first.
Well, I really like Derek. But yeah, everybody line up. Clean. Magical hose. She's also gonna go over to Ximori, speak to them real quick, and just gonna be like, I noticed that you really tried to keep me out of all the dirt during all that, so thank you. Even though, you know,
I kind of pushed you in it. Yeah. But, you know.
No, you're right. Someone has to do these things, and I think it's very nice that you want to help and do good things. And I mean, hey, it's making me face my fears, right? But yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I kind of, volunteered us all for this.
It's okay.
I should have asked.
We're in this together. We're like a clan, you know, like a band.
Yeah. Yeah, the sort of band of people. What would be our band name, do you think?
Lesley and the Bastards!
That's not bad.
I'm gonna keep pitching it. Would we like to short rest?
Another time. Probably. I have taken quite a significant amount of damage.
I don't know what
here's my question. Is this what we were meant to unblock? Because if so, then we can head back out.
Yeah, job done, innit?
I mean, it's part of it. I'm a little curious what they kept in there.
Yeah, we should probably investigate a little bit further.
Hang on.
I did quite like the sound of the bath place. You know, we get a nice massage. I believe mention of beautiful people giving them beautiful masseurs.
Gotta go to the cheap bath first, though.
It's so long ago, I barely remember that.
Everyone looks beautiful when they're next to you, though.
Oh,
Was that to me or to?
No, that was to you.
To Emma, you butthole!
Not Emma.
Wow, I thought we were friends.
Gonna come back and kick your ass.
You guys taking a short rest then?
I think it's prudent to take a short rest at least.
Do we want to just stick our head in and have a quick look at where they came from first?
Kind of cool.
So that if we don't need to take a short rest, we can head back up and take a short rest rather than having a short rest in here.
Yeah. Certainly.
I do.
Because it does smell.
Without metagaming, it does feel like there are forces above us that kind of just want us to fail at every turn. You know, every time we think that we're safe, something happens, like a big old ball of fire. So I think maybe we should just be prepared for the worst. The smell is not so bad now we're used to it. I think maybe we should just take our time.
I suppose it's probably I've not really been breathing, so the smell's still pretty bad every time I do that.
I just I do worry that we've become targets for a very, very handsome, devious little sprightly man. I feel like the sewer's a good place for him to accost us.
I don't see him coming down here, honestly.
Yeah, I didn't think he would dirty himself down
I
here.
see all sorts of depravity in his eyes. I wouldn't
What have you
be
all got
so
against Tarquin?
Nothing. I would love to be against him. Let me get this straight, but
Wait, we are talking about the same person, right? Like, Tarquin, the weird little dragon guy upstairs.
no, we are not talking about the same person. Oh, yeah, what's his name?
Crane?
Thank you. Our sexy,
He's got a weird name.
yeah, Crane.
Oh.
The fire sprite that just showed up at our camp and disappeared again.
Just before all the fire.
Roll me a perception check.
Oh,
Whom?
shit.
One of you.
Everyone?
13.
You instinctively look around for the flaming red hair, and out the corner of your eye, you see a piece of moss fall off the ceiling.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, we can put it to a vote, but I don't know what Balrick and Aderyn would say.
Balrick is very much on the let's take a rest to give Derek a chance to recover. And Aderyn is focusing on cleaning everything.
I mean, we don't all have to, push forward. I could just go have a quick look and see if there's anything
I can have a look with you, man.
worthwhile.
Perfectly fine.
You do that stealthily. Stealthily.
Yeah, I know.
Both of you roll me stealth checks, please.
Was that 3 from someone?
8.
Yes. It's with. Sorry, what was your stealth check, bro?
4.
4. You pace along trying to be relatively quiet, and then about halfway up, as the stench kind of gets you, Tauri, you start hacking and coughing, your foot slips, and you land into the runoff that's coming from this area. And you both kind of just wait. Nothing seems to happen.
I think we're alone now.
Doesn't seem to be anyone around.
We can probably head back to them then.
Yeah. Do you want a hand up?
Yes, please.
Sort of offer, but when I try to pull, I sort of stagger and fall myself.
I spin around so that you end up next to me rather than on top of me.
Yeah.
Tauri shippers.
That just sort of like land. Like I've fallen over.
You sure you're okay?
Yeah, I think it might just be the smell, or it is hot in here. I think the fire just. Ugh.
Can I do an insight or medicine check?
Roll me a medicine check, yeah?
That's better. Medicine 18.
18. Yeah, Ximori's usually quite pale, so it's kind of hard to tell whether they're feeling kind of under the weather, but they definitely have like more sweat than you're used to seeing on them, and there is a pretty nasty looking wound on their upper arm and shoulder from where the Otagu bit them that does appear to be kind of red, inflamed, and is already leaking kind of milky white fluid.
I think you might have tiny infection.
Nah. That's just annoying.
Hold on.
And it's like the last thing I want. I think I promised Aderyn no one will get ill. Oh.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I cannot learn. Oh, I can. I can't learn spells or spell scrolls, can I?
You can add ritual ones to your spellbook, but you can't add to your repertoire.
That's fine. I do have an option, if you would like it, but I know you are adverse to magic.
What would it do?
I have the ability to remove... Is he poisoned? Oh, or he's diseased, right? I have the ability... I think poison would have got air. I have a scroll that will allow me to heal someone of a disease if they've got one.
Right. So you just basically cure my disease.
Yes. But the choice, as always, is yours.
And Aderyn wouldn't have to know.
She's not here.
We could do. And I guess I'd owe you something.
You'd owe me nothing.
Okay, I don't want to make things worse for, like, they've got, like, more comfortable, they've come out their shell a bit, and I don't need to revalidate their fears, so... Okay.
Okay, I will use the 2nd level spell scroll that I have.
Bards can learn Lesser Restoration. You don't need to roll at all. That works perfectly fine. Yes, there is a wave of
soft blue energy, and you kind of hear a lullaby from when you were a child in your ears, like your mother would or father would have sung to you when you were ill as a kid.
It was nice.
Not all magic is bad.
Thank you. That does feel... Oh, that does feel better. Thank you, Tauri.
What holiday are we in?
Sorry, what? Holiday.
Tianlong. A holiday. It is Tianlong, and it's all about giving to others.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. I haven't given you a bead, have I?
Tauri has 0 beads right now.
I'll reach into one of my deeper pockets and pull out a bead. Yeah, sorry, I guess I forgot to give it to you before, but...
I was away.
I don't think there's any... I mean, I'll have a quick look through. There might be eggs or something. I'll go and have a quick...
Yeah, you head into this room, and what you find in this room is a large kind of cistern where dozens of other pipes are feeding into this point, and you can see that this space appears to essentially be a catch for refuge and stuff that they don't want flowing down the river and would usually be cleared out and that kind of thing. Unfortunately, it looks like this creature found this and has built itself a nest and just amassed more and more to the point that it formed up a blockage. There's like an overflow grating around the edge. But yeah, it stinks in here, but there also might be some useful stuff in that trash pile. You never know.
I'll root around through the trash pile.
Cool. Roll me an investigation check.
I will help.
Damn it.
Have advantage.
And also, if it hasn't been that long, I don't know if you used it. You might have.
I did use the Bardic Inspiration from last time.
Cool.
Thank you, because that was a 9 and a natural 20 for 19.
Okay. roll me 3 D100s, and each of you choose an item from the other adventuring gear list.
Ooh.
Where is that?
In the Player's Handbook, Chapter 5.
Other
I've
adventure
got
gear.
97,
Yep.
60,
Mm-hmm.
and 73.
73. You find a signet ring bearing a crest of 2 swan wings surrounding a... so 2 swan wings in the gold surrounding a small pearl in the center.
Mm-hmm.
You find an empty quiver. And
Is it nice?
it's decent. Like, it will need cleaning up and a little bit of restoring. How it ended up down here, you're not entirely sure. Clearly got thrown away. It could do, a bit of mending or something like that. Maybe a failed initial attempt, but a bit of repair and work would do it up. And a very mouldy but decently high quality blanket.
I'll quickly prestidigitation hold off the blanket.
Might need a deep clean, but at least it makes it presentable. It's got a very nice woven pattern into it of leaping dolphins. It appears to be somewhat reversible for a different kind of colour pattern on either side.
I'm going to say this now. Is there a limit on what we can pick from the...
One of you can pick a healing potion if you want.
I was going to
How's
pick
this
a spell book and then roll to see if it had anything in it.
You can certainly find a spellbook. It would be empty.
I knew that. I wasn't actually going to pick it.
And you obviously can't find
Where
the
was this list
spyglass
again?
either.
Oh, wait. I found it.
Oh, damn it.
Within reason, people. Being kind.
I find a broken spyglass, like the lens in it shattered.
Based on the fact that I know you have someone who can cast mending, no. Not giving a 1,000 gold piece I have in a refuge bar.
I wanted to keep it. I wasn't going to get rid of it.
Oh, a 10-foot ladder.
Yeah.
Spyglass is 1,000 gold.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
wild.
In a world with
What?
magic, apparently the action of crafting lenses is still a highly technical and rare skill.
Does anyone in our party have a crowbar?
No idea.
I
No.
don't think so.
I'm going to find a crowbar.
Find a crowbar.
We always need a crowbar.
We'd always need an indestructible crowbar.
No, we have. To be fair, the last one we had bent.
And we fixed it again and again and again. And our DM loved it when we did that.
Kind of did, to be honest. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
That's what you find here. There's a bunch of other, like, random assorted stuff that's in various states of decay and broken. There's a lot of food and rubbish and that kind of stuff here that's not good. But yeah.
I'm still having to think. Quite a long list. I would like to find a set of manacles.
Yeah. Slightly rusted, but nothing a brief ask of Togrim wouldn't clean up.
Okay, so it's the swan ring, the swan signet ring.
Yep.
Decent empty quiver, and a very mouldy but nice blanket.
It's not mouldy anymore.
Moldy-ish.
Slightly unclean. Slightly mouldy, nice blanket. Okay.
The other two of you, what are you doing as these two have headed off to investigate the Otagu's nest?
Lesley is very much staying away, like staying the fuck away from the smelly things again. Like, now Aderyn's given him a bit of a clean, he's like acutely aware of the situation that he's been in. And that Ximori was like blatting the Otagu in the sewage water and like spraying it all around the sides. So there's just nowhere you can stand that's like devoid of sewage. So Lesley is complaining at great length to poor Togrim.
Togrim is probably... He would try and retrieve his arrows, but with, like, the utmost care to not go in, so he might just give up on some of them. If it's going to mean, like, going in the water.
Roll an investigation check. I don't know how many arrows you used.
3, I think? 14.
14. You can get one back fairly easily. There is one that you think you could get if you just climbed over the giant thing's body. You, like, tightrope walk along one of its tentacles, you get onto its body. One of the other ones is you can't get without getting wet.
I might try and tightrope, but like depends how
acrobatics check.
squishy it is.
Make me an
Whether I
acrobatics check.
Continue. 6 plus 10. No, 8, sorry.
8. You step out, you like get 1 foot onto it, and the thing is squelchy and soft, and
yeah,
you immediately think better of it and just kind of leave.
No thanks. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna note down. I'm down 2 crossbow bolts.
Stephen, one of the rare players who actually tracks their ammunition, and I love him for it.
It makes it interesting, at least for Togrim, who's an artificer and dealing with all the bits.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of love it. Is there anything wants to do anyone else wants to do during the short rest?
Just if we've got enough time while I'm back, I would. Do I have to do it for the entire hour? Yeah, I will do a Song of Rest so they get an extra 1d6 if they roll any hit die.
Thank you.
I'd like to roll some hit die because I am quite injured.
I've been more injured, but I do. Oh god, how do I short rest again? Ugh.
Yeah. It's an extra d6 to each hit die or just overall?
Just 1d6.
Okay.
Sucks. I want to make that feature better, but other than making it work off your bardic inspiration, which means it progresses slightly quicker, there's not much you can do. Maybe if you just made it a flat d6 and tied it to proficiency bonus.
Maybe sacrificing some of the health for spell slots for casters.
It's the fact that you don't.
You know.
It's
No, I'm talking about just Song of Rest. I like hit die are fine, but
I
just
think
Song
it
of
needs. It's the fact that you get it at 2nd level, right? It doesn't get any better until 9th level.
Yeah, it just... I want it to do more. Anyway, you guys have your short rest. You bind up some wounds. None of you are feeling particularly peckish down here, as much as some of you are quite hungry after the fight. And Ximori, especially, there is a frustrated uncomfortableness. Like, you didn't quite stretch a muscle in that fight. Like, something's just tensed up. So you kind of pass over food, but you have some water here or there. And, well, you cleared a pretty significant blockage.
How is the water flowing through this place now?
Fairly quickly. Now, it looks like instead of whatever dam, essentially, the creature had built up, released a large flow of water and took a lot of momentum with it, and it is now flowing fairly decently back down the way you came.
I'd say that's job done.
Yeah. I guess so, yeah. I mean, we found a big thing.
Build a big thing.
Yeah, there was only sort of one blockage that they were talking about, wasn't there? DM.
I mean, they hadn't done necessarily investigations. They'd commented that there must have been a blockage of some kind because it was flowing slower than usual.
think maybe this was a good amount of time to have spent in the sewer together. This was a fantastic group bonding activity, but let's never do it again.
There is one thing, though.
What?
When we go back up, there's going to be the guy who, is going to let the door open for us.
Right?
And we can't really just come back up out of the sewer completely clean. That's going to be suspicious.
Are you?
Tauri isn't fully clean. She's get the worst off, but it's still dirty.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
we need to
we
at
need to be.
least flash our legs.
We
and
don't
stuff,
need to be
don't we?
covered in shit. But
You know
we need
what?
to be at least briefly.
Volunteer
That's true.
that Balrick goes and covers himself in the Otague's ick. I think that's
I think Dirk at this point just comes over and just shakes like a dog and just gets everyone.
Dirk is feeling a
we
little.
have an understanding. We have an understanding now.
Dirk has been happily swimming around in the sewage. He's grown quite accustomed to it at this point. And he is feeling a little better after the rest and the healing. Although he has been warned off multiple times by Balrick to not eat the Otague flesh. As it's gonna be nasty.
He's still snuffing it down when nobody's looking. He's like,
That's the point.
One of
big
those
nasty
tentacles is slowly getting shorter.
Those big nasty teeth it's got.
Yes.
Can I sort of kick some of those out?
Yeah, we'll get Balric to see what he can get out of the
Certainly.
creature.
You're just going for the big one, yeah?
All of them. I think it's something Chris would have asked for to see what we can. Is there anything there that would be useful?
Any teeth or bits?
Yeah, to the party.
Give me a second to go look at salvage stuff.
Salvage.
I don't know if his character sheet on D&D Beyond is up to date.
It's not, and it doesn't contain half the stuff you can do anyway.
No, but it might at least give me like survival check and stuff.
Oh yeah, most of that stuff should be up
Nice
to date.
for it.
That'll be fine. Where is it? There it is. Right. There's a fair amount that Balric. Roll me a.
Survival?
Yeah, make me a survival check.
Uh,
That is unnatural 20.
it is a natural 20 for a 25.
Fair enough. Let's say he had help. Couple of things that he remembers, because I'll roll an H check into that. The young of Otagues, their stomachs aren't fully developed, so they actually have they essentially pre-digest stuff by spitting up acid onto things. So you could potentially try and take out the gland that does that on the young Otagues. That might be useful in a way that essentially weakens the exterior of creatures, making them more susceptible to being squashed and flattened. You could try and get that from the young ones. From the big one, the skin can be used to craft armor, but it's a hell of a job to start skinning a creature, and the conditions down here aren't perfect for it. But the teeth, the tentacles can be converted into stuff similar to how the Displacer Beast tentacles could be converted into weapon. And with a natural 20, he remembers something about Otagues technically being having a limited telepathy, and whether an element of its essence could be used to harness something like that. You can't get all of this within the hour, but it's up to you what you try and harvest.
The tentacles is probably a good way to go.
Yeah?
How many can I get, in theory?
Two
One of the
tentacles
three,
that can
two
be
of the
used
three.
this way, because one of the tentacles is actually an eye stalk. There are two tentacles that have the kind of barbed hooks on them that were used against you.
Yeah, I think I'll get the two. I've already ripped one of them off.
Yeah,
so-
I was going to say, without rolling, I will let you have one of the tentacles. It is a fairly large tentacle and will need work to be done to convert it into a maul. But if you do spend the time and the money to convert it into a maul, it will be a maul, fleshy, reinforced one, that deals an additional 1d4 piercing damage.
Can Balrick get the teeth?
Make me a... what's the word it's for? Harvester's Tools kit. He's proficient in it, and it's Dex in this instance.
Cool.
It's two at least.
Harry will also help and give inspiration.
Certainly.
So, I'm still on a d6 for inspiration at the moment.
Hint.
So, that is a 16 plus 6 plus 6? Yes. So, 20...
20 fuck done. Yeah. With that roll, you successfully harvest 3 large teeth and 6 small teeth. Balrick is fairly confident that the larger teeth can be converted into daggers with enough money and time that can potentially poison and disease a creature. That all of these are one use in that instance, because after that the
They snap off.
not necessarily they snap off, but the essence
Venom
of the
sac in them breaks.
it's kind of used up. Like, you essentially store this thing to maintain the disease on it. Once it's stabbed, it's kind of gone. The smaller teeth can be used, can be converted into crossbow or arrow bolt heads, and deal an additional 1d4 poison damage on a hit.
So that was 6 large, 3 small, or 3 small? 3 large.
3 large, 6 small.
I've put it in the in-game chat.
Sick.
And yeah, you have a tentacle that can be converted into a maul.
So can I... If I take one of them and make it half size, can I make it a warhammer?
It would be the same amount of work and effort, but functionally, yeah.
Yeah. I like having a hand free.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I only need the one of them. The one tentacle.
To be clear, where is all this stuff going?
I'm just carrying this.
Okay, you're just having a tentacle around your neck.
Yeah,
Well,
just-
it's then a great thing to say what we killed.
That is true.
Oh yeah, also could I try and drag the body out of the center of this? You know, there's that central bit in the middle.
There's a pillar there that goes all the way up to the ceiling.
Okay. In that case, I'm just going to drag this over to one of the walls,
Mm-hmm.
so that it's not in the way of the. It's not making its own dam.
Yeah, you can do that fairly easily. You just shove it, and this thing has definitely less bones than a thing should. You know, how in Among Us they have one central spine and that's it. This basically has this, and then a tripod of legs, and that's the only bones in its body. Other than that, it's just mass and flesh. So it's very easy to squish, is what I'm saying.
Sort of squish it into a corner.
Yeah.
So we need to
Okay.
get down and dirty before we get... Can we maybe wait
We
until
can
we
do
get
that
right?
when we're closer. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense if we do it now because then we're just wet and horrible.
And
But before we go up, we're gonna have to get a bit dirty. and not in a fun way.
Yeah, it's a good thing you noticed or remembered. It would look a bit suspicious.
Yeah, I'm pretty good with suspicious stuff. I say with no hint of irony.
So you head out.
Come on, Z.
Who is leading the way out? Balrick and Aderyn. Balrick will say he'll take the tail, where he'll keep an eye on it in case anything's following, and
At the
Aderyn will
front.
follow just in front of him.
I'll go in
Lesley
front.
also says that he will take the tail and then grabs Ximori's tail.
I think at this point the tail's gone.
You're just grabbing the back of my shirt, just
Cupping. Gently cupping.
gently cupping my buttock.
Tauri, Togrim, who's going third?
I will.
Tauri, Togrim, Aderyn, Balrick. You head back through.
Lesley, I could just hold your hand if you like.
I'm quite happy with this arrangement, but whatever makes you happy.
It's fine, you can stay there.
Matron. Can you make me a survival check, please, Ximori, to try and remember the way that you came through the winding sewage tunnels?
Does
Natural
somehow
20.
a gentle. Oh, nice.
18 plus 2.
You guys are rolling so well today.
I have
not
poisoned.
I have been last every time in combat.
I got poisoned and diseased.
You are confident. You essentially follow the flow of the water. It is heading downstream to the harbour, which was the way you came. And you are making good progress. You've been down here with the short rest involved a little over a couple of hours at this point. You estimate it's probably around noon, maybe shortly afterwards. Upstairs.
Oh, Leslie's going to slowly start listing out all the things that we're going to eat afterwards. All the special street meat, all the booze.
You eat.
Are we going for a clean and massage first? Is that what you wanted?
Oh, that is what is necessitated.
Ximori, you're leading.
Quite nice to be pampered.
Lesley, can you roll me a perception check, please?
I guess. Why would I do that, though? Ximori saw everything.
PvP time.
Ximori is focusing on navigating you guys out. Tauri can as well, actually.
That is a 15.
Ah, 15.
I do get a -1, so this was a good roll.
Perception.
Perception.
15.
15.
I will ask, would it be disadvantage or not? While we've got the light, I don't have dark vision.
This is audible.
Cool, that's what I thought I'd ask.
Yeah, that's fair. As you're walking through, sound of sloshing water and rapidly flowing effluent. Still occasionally chunks of fatberg and bits of slayed otague kind of go past you. Slapping against the stone and just roiling in the sewer. You come to an intersection and you just suddenly see just up ahead of you a wash of fluid comes down the pipe towards the intersection. Like in a steady, like not rhythmic, but like there's a wave and then another wave. There's definitely something disturbing the water. Amongst the sounds of the fluid and the squelching, the two of you swear you hear words of "not good, okay, think," as you approach the intersection.
Does the voice sound familiar?
No.
Does it sound sexy?
Everything sounds sexy to you.
Darn tootin'.
Guys, I think there might be somebody in a little bit of bother ahead.
Is it like ahead of us or behind or?
It's ahead of you and to the left, and you can hear this like squelching noises coming from further down that from around that corner.
So we've got to be real normal with this.
Are we covered in stuff at this point?
I just turn around, just like reach down, big splash. Just
Yeah,
Right.
that gets Lesley and
Thank
Tauri. What do you do?
I guess we're heading towards it, right?
What I'll probably say is, shall the four of us go have a look while these two stay here and keep guard?
Yeah, probably best. But remember, guys, normal.
Yes, we are normal sewer dwellers, yes.
Well, no,
No,
none of the
we're
fancy
here.
things.
We do not live here. We're here for Tian Long.
None of the fancy, unusual things, Togrim.
Yeah.
I'll say
I
I'm
gotcha.
taking out my axes.
Crossbow only,
Put
yep.
those away.
As you come around the corner, you can see down the tunnel, ignited in the lanterns, a large ooze of green liquid, refuge piled up, even like pieces of bodies writhing in the sewer made of slime, refuge, and congealed sewer water. Pieces of bone, discarded objects, and all manner of sewer goo amongst the brackish fluid. And held within it is a woman. Olive-skinned, is covered in ooze, her limbs caught in the muck. And she just looking around and sees you approach, and she seems to just notice your approach. Ah, perfect timing. Do you mind? And she points towards a golden disc-like object that has crashed against the wall nearby that she can't quite reach.
Do any of us recognize the green sewer goo?
Roll me a nature check.
1.
No.
10.
21.
No, 21. It, you're aware of a concept of oozes in general, where congealed concepts exposed to magic or magical effects can gain a sort of sentience, where they behave a bit animalistic. This looks like that, but made out of sewage and the refuge of an urban population.
Yeah.
More importantly, I think all of you recognize her.
Who is she?
In robes of magenta, crimson, and blue. This is the woman that all of you have spotted around town at different intervals. Togrim and Balrick, you spotted her at the university. Tauri and Ximori, I believe, spotted her at the meeting of the Order of the Radiant Heart a couple of days ago. Odd coincidence, shall we say. And you all saw, everyone except Ximori, saw her leaving the Worm's Seal not 2 days ago. Could you...
I'll grab the thing and like,
Cool, you have to get quite close to this ooze to grab it.
that doesn't stop me. I put away my axes and just run forward.
Yeah. You run forward and grab the thing and hug it towards it. Excellent. And she like grabs it as she's pulled into the thing. And you see it just like writhing about inside it. You can see like air bubbles and like it begins, you can see like some burning happening to her skin. And then suddenly you just see the ooze begin to just wobble and vibrate like a jelly being shaken from the inside, and as the thing bursts, and there is a ringing that echoes from once the medium has separated. The refuse and pieces of the ooze catch you, covering you all, and then and she just splashes down into the center of the sewer. Much obliged. Pull her up. And you come face to face with an olive-skinned woman. Of, as I said, robes which are now looking a little worn, a little covered in muck. A dark brown hair kind of plaited into a tight braid around the side. Varying rings of different metals and necklaces, and kind of dark blue eyeshadow applied. Excellent timing, thank you very much. quite useful. I suppose you came around the corner at just the right time. I'm sorry,
Yeah, what-
have we met? I think you all looks slightly familiar.
I certainly
your
recognize
face.
you, but I've never spoken to you.
Ah, well,
I know your face.
allow me to be the first to make introductions. The name's Joanna Smythe. And she thrusts out a hand towards each of you. Well,
Thank you.
Leslie's gonna go to kiss the hand and then remember he's wearing a freaking, like, a mask. And she's like, okay, maybe not.
And you're both covered in sewage.
well, odd acquaintances at odd times are no reason to be rude. Names?
Oh, yeah, sorry. Ximori.
Pleasure.
Tauri.
And...
The peacock is Lesley.
Ah, thank you.
No, I was waiting for Togrim.
Togrim had gone.
Oh, sorry.
Togrim is first.
Yeah, I went first.
I'm so sorry. I was waiting for you again. No, Leslie's gonna, do a little, like, bow. Name's Lesley. And you might be?
Joanna Smythe.
Lesley.
Are you paying
She
attention?
said so.
Did you... Do you have
I
a
think the
concussion?
fumes are getting to me,
That would make perfect sense. It's not fun being down here, but, inquisitive minds must. Why are you
Would
down
like
here,
to,
actually?
Well, I think maybe we can get out of here and also discuss that on our way out, if your job here is done.
It's not, actually. I
We
haven't quite found what
we
I
were
found what I was
down
looking
here
for
as-
yet.
We were here as part of the sewer cleaning team for
Oh.
Tianlong.
Did you...
You not
Clean
not
the
know
sewer,
that
then?
was happening. Oh yeah, I hold up the tentacle. Yeah, found the blockage.
You are... fascinating. That was blocking the whole thing?
Oh, not this. No, the thing it was attached to, and then the nest that it had made,
Oh,
and its children, and
that's
the
a shame.
stuff that it had hoarded,
And the larvae. Don't forget the larvae.
and the larvae it was filled with, and the fat and just
We don't need
matted
to go
hair
through all
and
of
fat
this.
and stuff.
Joanna
and
seems like a lovely woman we don't need to go into the details of this with.
There's a lot of shit.
Yes.
But if you don't mind us asking, what brings a wonderful thing like you into this this particular area?
Well, I'm trying to find something to repair this, actually. It's still somewhat useful, but not... And she holds up the golden disc. Got a bit of damage a short while ago. I'm just trying to find a decent place to repair it.
Sort of
Various investigations around
thing.
have led me here. Essentially, I'm trying to find it. It's a little bit of a maze down here, and not the most pleasant of places to be. So
I would imagine
Is that-
if you needed that repaired, maybe you would take it to a smithy. Famously not
that
underground.
sort of is that a sort of magical thing?
one way of putting it.
Okay.
So you tend to you possibly understand. I have spoken to Marina Martel at the Worm Seal to see whether they were capable of repairing it, but it fell a little outside their knowledge base, as enthusiastic as they were. So back to my original plan to find the thing that used to be here. Anyway, I'm boring you.
What
Did
used to
you
be?
say you were leaving? I don't want to keep you. In fact, I could possibly help you get up much quicker if you wanted. No skin off my
Yeah,
back.
we got
Incorrect.
we got somebody
legally.
waiting. So
Oh well, happy to leave you to it. I guess I'll keep looking for what I'm looking for. You're welcome to come if you're. You seem like interesting folks who are always interested for an interesting time. So
Did
Be
she
rude
say
not to
what she
offer.
was- Did she say what she was looking for already, or just say she
she's
was
not been
looking for something?
specific.
I mean,
Togrim is very intrigued.
what do you
Can we?
think you're looking
I'm sorry,
for?
Joanna. You seem like a lovely lady. Do you mind if we have a little huddle in the corner?
Oh no, please feel free. You all know each other. I'm just going to. She like turns around, like pulls up the golden disc and starts like
Alright,
looking
guys.
it over.
I think maybe she might be the love of my life. I think we should help her and see where this goes.
Sure.
Lesley on the nose.
No, you can
more
try that, but
intrigued in
I think that maybe this is the one.
I want to know what she has and why fixing it would be done in a sewer.
And
That
let's
seems like-
face it, we're not going to smell any better.
Also, like, if it is like a magical thing, it might be like a dangerous one, and
Let's send the other two back up.
I mean, it like straight up like destroyed that big ooze thing.
The jelly. The delicious looking jelly. Yeah, it did.
It
It-
did
it
wobble
was
that jelly
delicious.
quite a lot.
It looks like a fantastic item to have as well. I think.
Did it like feel weird when I grabbed it?
Roll me an Arcana check.
Yeah. Do I get special knowledge on this?
You know what? I will give you it on this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we're cooking now, buddy. It's 12.
I mean, you're not that familiar with magic. It didn't feel like it hurt or gave you a buzz or anything like that. But it did feel well made and chunky, should we say? Got some head.
Chunky.
I mean, it seems pretty sturdy. I mean, you could probably knock someone's teeth out with that fairly easily. Give them a pretty good concussion. Just by, like, whacking them.
Not to interrupt. Are you interested? Because I believe I've got a signal, so I'm possibly going to start heading off. And as I say, you are welcome to come. It's not often you meet people in places like this, so why not?
Kind of curious.
I agree totally.
Yeah, I'm coming, if you don't mind.
Please.
Aderyn, Balrick, do you want to head back up?
Aderyn is intrigued by this woman and the rather brazen display of magic that they projected, and I think Aderyn would probably want to stay, and at that point Balrick is like, well, if no one else is leaving, I'll hang around. He's kind of keeping a watch over all of you.
Yeah. Well, gave me the option.
Well, if at the end... Look, travel with me for a little bit, and as I said, if we get a little further and you decide you've quite had enough of the sewers, I can get you back up top relatively easily. That won't be a problem. So,
You know what?
this way.
Yeah, hang on. I'm just going to take off the dog mask at this point.
No!
It's like,
Better?
wasn't really doing much.
Excellent.
They're just sort of in the way. So, yeah, I'm good.
Sewers, then. Come on!
Yeah.
He doesn't really wait for you to agree and just starts heading off back down the way that the ooze was.
At this point, can I hang back behind everyone?
Yeah.
And then try and subtly cast Detect Magic?
Certainly.
Yeah,
Roll
we
me sleight of hand. Since you said you were trying to do this subtly, it's trying to see if anyone else notices.
Nat 1.
That one. Everyone knows.
3.
Everyone knows you cast this. You say the vocal components echo a little bit. The person who's
idiot.
closest to Joanna, just like you see, like Joanna, just like register it, but keep moving on regardless. You do cast Detect Magic, however. This person radiates magic.
Yeah, I figured she did, but like I want to know what that is as well.
Is that like in the same way that Aderyn does, or like
similar, stronger, and different.
Does Aderyn radiate magic?
There is a faint
Yeah.
haze around Aderyn. Like there is, like the best way to describe it is like, you know how technically our body glows in infrared, but like really subtly. Like it's kind of like that. Look, when you got Detect Magic up, like Aderyn is faintly brighter, kind of thing.
slightly purple?
Yeah. Joanna, on the other hand, It's not blinding, but it's
Beacon.
blatantly obvious this person is steeped in magic.
Yeah.
Flashlight candle.
Roll me a investigation check or Arcana, your choice actually.
They're the same. So 18.
18. You take special attention to the metal disc that she is essentially holding out in front of her like this, almost using it as a divining rod, a compass. The thing itself is magic. It doesn't have a particular school. It seems to be a blend of numerous things. It's somewhere in the realm of an arcane focus, but much more powerful.
Okay.
It seems to possess abilities beyond that you wouldn't get from detect magic. You would need identify or someone to answer your questions.
Cool.
But she heads
Very
off.
much.
She heads off down the tunnel. Clearly, like holding this out. Who's closest? Lesley, you seem bad. As you're walking along. So, since we've got a bit of time and the signal is a little weak, even down here, tell me about yourself. I mean, ask questions if you have any. I'm relatively open book.
What is that thing? Where did you get it? What does it do?
Are you single?
It is an astral compass. I made it myself. It does quite a lot of things, and I don't like to tie myself down.
Are you evil?
Tend not to be. At least don't try to be.
Okay.
What does
Depends on your moral
compass,
objections, I suppose.
Oh.
What does an astral compass do? Why would you need one?
Various reasons. Does a lot of things. Opens doors. Helps me cast spells. Allows me to visit multiple places. See multiple things. Help people. Tend to like moving around. But unfortunately it got damaged in the last journey I did, so kind of need to touch it up. And there used to be a pretty decent smithery here, but it appears to have fallen down. Or disappeared since the last time. But it's still seemingly putting out a signal, so I seem to be able to find it.
In the sewers?
Well, it wasn't in the sewers last time I came.
Right.
I'd do a history check to know if I think they've ever built on top of the sewers from a history point of view.
Certainly can.
Probably not. History. 16.
16. I mean, you don't know for certain, but I mean, the Awakening was a pretty catastrophic event. Like, people would have rebuilt on things.
Just when were you here last?
Oh, that sounds like you're asking a lady her age, and that's not...
How old are you, Lesley?
Can't quite remember. Anyway, it's, if you don't mind, a couple of questions for you, just in an equal repayment of
Yeah, I suppose that's
information. I'm not going to pry too deeply. I just like to know who I'm traveling. Who are you? Why? I mean, you've explained why you were down here. I suppose you were doing stuff for the festival. But you are a bit of an odd bunch. None of you...
We're a band.
You're a band.
I suppose. Well, I mean, that's...
We're not a band. He means a band of people.
Like a band of adventurers?
We kind of said like we're a band. That was kind of...
Yes.
Band of...
Ish.
Well, what's your adventuring name then? All the best adventuring groups have a name. I mean, there's the Sunset Populi, there's the Veritum Arms, the Brown Cloaks. What's yours? I like that bands are good.
Do I
to include.
recognise any of them?
There are stories of these. You recognise Sunset Populi. The other ones, no. Again, a name in history.
In history, though?
Yeah.
Did you know them quite well?
Ran into them a couple of times. Veritum Arms, occasionally we had some disagreements, but you know, that happens. It's fine. You generally sort things out.
With the axe, staff, small man. I'm just looking around trying to figure out a name.
There is not a name yet.
But all of the best ones... Look, names matter, okay? Just do well to remember that, whether it's your own, your group's, or another person's. Do well to remember names, okay? And when you can, get a good one for yourself.
I mean, like, we didn't really set out to be like an adventuring party. I mean,
No one
I
ever
met
does.
Balrick on like a caravan, and then like we ran into this lot.
I tend to find you meet the most interesting people when you keep travelling. That's why I like the voyage more than the destination. Don't stay in places too long, generally.
You know anything about the fires happening at the moment?
Fair amount. I mean, I know they're happening. I've not necessarily been too close to them. What do you want to know? At this point, she kind of stops and is like investigating the compass a little bit, and Derek kind of like splashes up to her and she goes, "Oh, you are fabulous!" And she just starts like scritching Derek under the chin. She like goes into her robes and pulls out a fairly like decent like pork chop, essentially. Just hands it to Derek. "Oh, where did you come from then? You don't... Oh, they must love you up there." They what?
Yeah, they do. It's kind of distracting.
I mean, you could make some powerful people question their decisions, couldn't you? Oh, sorry, got distracted there. And she just keeps like scritching Derek's head. You asked a question. Fires.
Yes. Yes, I wondered if you knew anything about the spirit fires. Or watching you.
Some historical event more than present, but I suppose there are some similarities to what have been caused by fey creatures, based on what I remember. Never did find out why they stopped, though. Must have taken something pretty significant to stop them. Doubt it was they figured out a way to fight the fires, otherwise that'd been much bigger news. I think the Empire would have talked about that for a few decades at this point, but...
We got told by Thingamajig that they stopped them because they thought the lesson had been given. When we discussed with him.
Oh, you're talking about Amprane?
Yes.
He never said that.
No.
No.
I thought we discussed with him that they stopped back in the day, but I couldn't remember if he told us that they stopped because they decided to. Not.
You don't know why they stopped.
Okay. Any idea what could have caused them? He said something big.
Well, I suppose probably
Still
comes...
out of focus, by the way.
Yeah, I know. Probably comes down to who was causing them in the first place. I mean, take them out of the equation, fire's probably going to stop. Who did that? Who was starting them in the first place? Beyond me. Wasn't around for that, but can't have been easy. Why? Are you interested in helping?
Well, they've come back and it's not good.
No, it does seem to be displacing quite a few people, so it would be quite good to stop them. Maybe I'll let me know if I can help. More than happy
Unless
to.
if people just knew that, you know, it wasn't us, or that like we're not related to it.
Why do people think you're related to it? What have you been up to?
No.
Just
No,
to be
just-
clear, you're not arsonists, are you? Because it's quite dangerous having an open flame down
No,
here.
I don't really like fire. In
Good.
general.
Nope.
But like we met up, you know, I said like we met on like a caravan,
Yes.
and then we went to we were like in this like town, and then the theatre went on fire.
We were asleep at the time.
Yeah,
Right. So,
actually, it was really difficult to wake people up as well. That was weird. Like I had to like throw Balrick down the stairs. I punched and kicked Lesley quite a lot, but
that seems like
waking up.
a a lot of effort to wake someone up. Were you friends at this point? Excuse me for asking.
Acquaintances.
So?
Are we friends now?
Oh, yeah, that'd be.
What are we? I like a label.
I'm thinking a friend.
Oh,
This is one of the longest times I've gone in the last decade or so without trying to kill someone, so
I'd say that counts as
probably
friends.
right. Yeah. I have some trauma,
Well,
I say, turning back to her.
Don't we all? Look, we're getting relatively close. Do think about that name, though. As I said, best adventuring groups do have a name.
do we not have an?
Not really, no.
Did we not agree on 5 books?
No.
We did not.
No, that doesn't sort of help our case.
Really doesn't.
Not if you're trying to get away from the arson thing.
I do kind of like Lesley and the Bastards, though.
Good band
I
name.
think that-
If
Yeah.
Leslie's your lead singer, that is.
Well, my voice is quite angelic. Ah.
Oh, it's so echoey in here.
Harry's face is just, you know, when you have that neutral look of somebody trying very hard
Yeah.
to be neutral.
Joanna tries, and just it's very much like a. Mm-hmm. Well, I think we're here. As you can see now that the compass is glowing, in like faint bluish, almost like a starlight color, and just seems to have like grown steadily as you've been walking. Well, I do appreciate the company. I suppose, once again, if you want to keep coming, or any other questions, I do think it's possibly worth looking into the fires a little more. There's something vaguely familiar about it all. Talking about the sleep. There used to be, long before even the Empire, really, a pantheon or a collective of, let's call them gods for the sake of ease, that the local, it was this like southeastern Fathaline used to pay tribute to. Gods of the forest, something like that.
I'll give the name that we got. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I'm just trying to find it.
Ximori just slightly tenses up at the whole like talking about gods thing.
Roll me a deception check.
I am not subtle about it today. That was +1, 9.
Don't call them gods. Call them powerful entities that offered protection and guidance.
Chill out.
They were known to be somewhat capricious, shall we say, and didn't entirely like being disagreed with. So maybe keep an eye on that. Might be worth looking into that. But if I'm around, if you want some help, certainly sounds like a useful thing or an entertaining thing to keep me occupied. Good journey before I head anywhere else.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway, well, and she like turns around, and in front of you, she points out a large metal door that is on a slight angle from the floor of the sewer that you're in. It's covered in slime and mold and is very well blended into the sewer. You would have missed it if she didn't point it out. The frame about it is bent and warped somewhat, but on closer inspection, it's definitely out of place. It doesn't belong within the stone and earth that the rest of the sewer has been constructed on. And to the side, as you see Joanna approach, she approaches a small, smooth panel that appears completely unaffected by rust, mold, or slime. That is inscribed with 9 small runes.
Can I read any of the runes?
Make me an Arcana check.
That's weird.
23.
25.
He is smarter than me.
And I roll as well.
If you wish.
Do I get a little bonus knowledge?
Yes, you can roll the bonus knowledge on this. It might not be helpful, but it's in the right vein. As you feel a...
Vague recollection, hint 3.
22.
22. They are not familiar to you, but you do seem to get a inkling that they do mean something. The other two of you, Tauri, for you, they're not the same, but they bear similar stylistic to runes that you are familiar with. Togrim, you once found a book while in Andamon discussing the concept of runecraft, and is essentially a scholarly discussion on the premise of it after the Empire had subsumed Stone Shore into the Empire with the hope of gaining the knowledge that was there as a stable and prescriptive form of magic rather than the classic nature of casting spells. And within that discussion, it was a treatise on possibly the origin of these runes, how they ended up over there, and the fact that they bear similar design to dwarvish and giant scripts. These look very similar to that. What you do know, with both of you of those rolls, over 20, and even Ximori, this is ancient, and it is inherently used for magical purposes. What you also will notice with that is that while the panel itself has withstood the test of time from rust or anything like that, it does appear to have some acid scarring, and there is a faint, especially you, Togrim, with Detect Magic still up, like buzz, almost like a bad electrical circuit on it.
Would I have enough time to draw any of them into my notebook?
You can certainly begin to.
I will. I'll concentrate on one rather than trying to get all of them. I'll just slowly work my way.
Yeah, Joanna kind of, keep saying Joanna, like kneels down in front of the panel and just starts like investigating it closely. She's like on her haunches, the robe's kind of like sitting onto the floor, but clearly like comfortable and full of a range of motion. Right, how am I going to open you then?
I think my hand just kind of slightly twitches towards an axe, just uncertain.
Any of you want to help?
I was going to say, is it something that I could try and fix with mending?
Oh, you certainly can. Make me an intelligence sleight of hand check.
Ooh.
So if you have proficiency in sleight of hand,
No.
or it's just straight intelligence.
So just straight intelligence. 9 plus 5? 4. 13.
13. You start repairing it, and like you do a little bit, including fixing one of the runes that had clearly just been like marked through. But it doesn't repair it as much as you were quite hoping. It's like, oh, neat trick. Never quite figured that one out myself. Kind of had to essentially hardwire the whole thing every time. Still helpful, thank you.
You've been here before?
Oh, no, not here. I meant that cantrip that you were using. Not one that I necessarily gave the thought of time. I tend to just do things the old-fashioned way. Some people call me crazy for it, considering there's such a simple... Anyway, let me see here. And she, just starts doing very subtle hand gestures over the panel, where you see it start lighting up. And I'm going to say you gave her advantage with that help. Which does help. Just... and you see it does spark quite a lot as she's doing this, as kind of arcane energy is like filtered in, and it seems to be short-circuiting somewhere. There are just the odd spark of lightning. That's good.
Well,
Go on.
So I'll let you finish first.
And she keeps like having to feed more and more into it, and you see that she eventually has to bring up the compass and it attaches the compass to it. You see like a small
I was just going to say, before she got that far as to attach the compass, I was going to say, could I roll to see if there's anything about the runes that feels like they're warped or wrong to them, just from looking at them?
I'll let you carry over that arcane check. They're not that, they're damaged more than anything. They're not warped or anything like that.
What are they made out of?
The whole panel?
The runes themselves.
I mean, the runes are etched into the panel. The runes wouldn't be made of anything.
Could
kind of like keypad energy.
Yes.
Could I use heat metal to try and then allow the runes to be corrected?
Roll me a charisma check to see how well you can do this. Because that is not the design of the spell.
I know. I assume I do not get the whole bard thing, because it's a check.
No, Bard would apply to this.
So it is a skill check.
No such thing as a skill check in D&D, it's an ability check. So yes, Bard does apply.
So I get half my proficiency bonus.
+1, yeah.
+1. Okay. 19.
19. It does help. If anything, it actually allows this tendril of what looks like gold to fuse onto the panel a lot smoother. With that roll, you do notice as she's doing that, and you see like her flood a fair chunk of power through the compass and into the wires. That'll do. With doing that, however, like with your focus on the metal, you do see that like this panel is connected to something in the door frame. But before you can process the panel suddenly lights up and then sparks, and there is a puff of smoke before the door makes a heavy metallic noise and then lurches suddenly. The panel shifts. The panels of the door shift, and it opens before it jams partway open. At which point, all of you hear the sound of sloshing liquid and the faint chick, chick, chick of something striking like a flint on steel.
You got like a writ or something?
What do you mean? Then a green liquid comes bursting forth from the doorway, and you see two small spark generators in the doorframe ignite the liquid into blazing green flame, which pours forward into the hallway. The flow then stops and cascades, stopping in the doorframe suddenly, coalescing into a large, vaguely humanoid shape. A scream of furnace and fire as the alchemist fire trap of the doorframe takes form and bellows. Joanna springs to her feet, turns to you. Basically, run! And just starts sprinting down the hallway. And that is where we will pick up next time. As the lot of you turn tail and are chased by an alchemist fire elemental down the sewers underneath Sheer Dothras. We will zoom out and pick up this story next time. But until then, see you later.